You'll get handouts in a while. The handout that you'll get is the West Asia and Southeast Asia. This is one of the most important class today which we are going to discuss. Definitely questions will be there, 100%. We discuss Iran, we discuss Southeast Asia, we will also discuss the Asia, and particularly the West Asia in totality will do in detail, right? Exam specific areas I'll be focusing on, not just for this year, going further also, these are the places which are very important. If you go back and look, last 5 years, the favorite area for UPSC is Middle East, basically. It is the same, we call it West Asia, we call it as Middle East Asia, both are same. Okay? So this Middle East is middle to what? Middle to Europe, right? West Asia is west of the Asia. The name nomenclature is more or less the same. Southeast Asia we call. Southeast Asia includes Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, like that. That is Southeast Asia. So the classifications of Asia are with respect to Asia and also with respect to the Europe, because Europe was once considered to be at the center of the earth. So that's why the classifications are going to be a bit different. We'll look into the classifications, we'll go through the central part of Asia, East, West, and South Asia and Southeast Asia. Then the major focus should be on the West Asia, especially the nuclear sites, the bordering areas of the Iran. Also, Iran has borders with Caspian Sea, with that of the Indian Ocean. So some cities, some nuclear sites which was blasted. Where does Iran has enrichment programs, especially at two different locations, and both are bombed by US. So does it have border with Iran, Iraq, and Israel is there, West Bank, Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Hezbollah, Houthi, Hamas, where are they located? What is the alliance strikes of Iran? How does Iran operates? What are the names in the Iraq of these alliance strikes? So you need to know in detail. Okay, I'll be dealing with that. I'll go beyond mapping today to explain you the backgrounds also, right? So be attentive. I want you to keep open your atlas. Okay? Your atlas, I want you to keep open. And what are the places I'll show you. You also open up and check for those places. You can also write in your handouts. Right. So apart from that, there are places which are there in current affairs. What are we going to deal in current affairs in the last 1 year? See, in the last 1 year, when you look into one, Azerbaijan and Armenia peace accord, which was brokered by the US, and the Trump call it as Trump won Nobel Peace Prize, but I'm talking about the route. He named that route as Trump route for international peace and prosperity. So what is the issue of this Azerbaijan and Armenia, and how the Caucasus mountains are holding back, and Caspian Sea to Black Sea, what is the connectivity, and so we need to know in detail. I'll deal with that. Next, some of the frozen conflicts, plus yellow line is in current affairs. You might have heard in the context of Israel. So what is this yellow line? I'll talk about that. Then some straits, Bab el-Mandab Strait, then Strait of Hormuz, anyways we'll be looking in detail. And the Neom city, which is again in news, Saudi Arabia, like a line they wanted to build so that they want to be free. INSTC, yesterday we have looked into, but today we'll look in little more detail. The Middle East Economic Corridor, plus the Iran, Persian Gulf, bordering countries of Black Sea, Red Sea, and also the Caspian Sea. Plus, our Tejas fighter got crashed in Dubai Air Show, right? You need to know the name of that Dubai airport. But now, after that, the biggest clashes are bombing clashes. So now that becomes a very important news articles. So what is this Gulf Cooperation Council? What are the countries in the GCC? Why immediately after the attack on Iran, the killings of the Ayatollah Khamenei, why did they went and attacked the rest of the countries which are there in the GCC? How this GCC is helping USA? You need to know that, right? Plus, What are the major ports across the Red Sea? You need to know. Why? Because Red Sea, after the Hormuz is gone, accessibility, the traffic in the Red Sea is increased, right? So some ports which denied entry into few countries, some ports which showed favoritism, and another island which took the pressure of this Strait of Hormuz is Socotra. It is under the control of the Yemen. So we need to look into these details. What is the role of Oman in the Persian Gulf? So all of this will be there in the current affairs. We'll be going through in detail with respect to each and every article. To understand this, first you need to know the broad overview. And there are current affairs of Chabahar. We also moved out from the Aini Air Base, if you remember. India moved out and its infrastructure is also removed from the Aini Air Base, where we built 3,200 meters of runway. We actually wanted to monitor Pakistan because the corridors which are north of the Pakistan and the Aini Air Base in Tajikistan is very nearby. We also moved out from Chabahar, right? What is the idea of this INSTC when we ourselves are moving out from Chabahar? What are the alternative routes? Yesterday we have looked into. So all possibilities of questions will be exploring. You just need to understand the basics, and when you close your eyes, you should be able to understand which country borders what. Then 50% of the solutions will be there. First, suppose if I ask you, is Syria having border with Israel? Is Syria having border with Saudi? Is Syria having border with Lebanon? Yes. Is Syria having border with Iraq, Iran, Gaza Strip? Is Syria having any of the seas around? So you should be in a position to understand, right? Lebanon is there, right? So Iraq, it has borders. Does it border with Saudi? I'm talking about Syria. So this is how the examiner can trap you. For example, Iran is there. Does Iran has border with Saudi Arabia? No. Does it has borders with the Caspian Sea? Yes. Indian Ocean? Yes. Persian Gulf? Yes. And what are the bordering countries on the eastern side to Iran? Does Pakistan has border with Iran? Yes. Afghanistan? Yes. Turkey? Turkey? Yes. So somewhere these things you need to know. Now, what are the rivers which are present in Iran that you need to know? What are the rivers that are draining into the Persian Gulf? Is there a delta? Right? So Euphrates and Tigris, both of them drain into the Persian Gulf, and these are one of the major rivers. Does Iraq also has these rivers? So once Iraq was the enemy of the US, but today Iran became one of the biggest enemy of the US. Why? So the funding for the Iran is given by the US only. In fact, the Saddam Hussein was promoted by US only in the beginning. Later, when they revolted, they came back. So it's a petrodollar economy which they do not want to lose. So today, India silently went in, got a tanker, and the transactions are done in yuan, okay, not in dollar now. We purchased the tankers which are coming from the Strait of Hormuz, and India and China are considered to be the Kattar Virodhis. But today, we paid the tankers with yuans, right? Earlier, Iran is a very good friend of India, and now also it's a good friend. Iran went against US and said, you do not give me any kind of money, I'll still give you oil, let us trade in the line of credit. A line of credit which is a unique line of credit which India and Iran operated. What is that? They sent oil to us. We need not give out gold or we need not give out dollars to them. Rather, the trade was done through the rice. The trade was done through the wheat. How? They said, we'll engage a line of credit. Line of credit means what? They'll give us oil. We need not pay them. When we pay them, that is where the dollar issue comes, right? We'll go back to the ancient sites in the name of barter system. So you take the oil, whatever the reserves you get, an equivalent, what do? Is you give me some kind of product. Let's say my consumption of oil is more as compared to the consumption of your rice, consumption of your wheat. So it said you take a line of credit, you keep that credit, and when time requires, I'll give you. So India has such kind of mechanisms with Iran. And imagine a country giving one of the port to us, one of the deepest ports. The natural deepest port of Iran is Chabahar. That Chabahar port access, we got it. So Iran is a very good friend of India, and not just India. Dost ka dost bhi kabhi friend hota hai. Like India's friend is Russia, Russia's friend is Iran. You'll understand why Iran is very important for Russia. Because Iran is the only way where Russia can reach out to the Indian Ocean. So if from Iran, if you want to reach out to Russia, what are the sea routes and what are the land routes that are available to you? You should be in a position to close your eyes and recall all of that. So for that, mapping, observations are more important. Current affairs to kuch nahi hai yaar. You just need to know the headlines, what is there in the headlines. If you know it, 50% of the solutions will be there, right? The Trump trade route for peace and prosperity, what did he do? He has made sure that there is a route which is through Megri corridor and Lachin corridor. He has resolved that issue. But Iran also has borders with that. Hardly 15 kilometers Iran has border, right? In order to avoid Iran, he has done this. From Caspian Sea, they wanted to take oil, but they also got exclusive rights for the trade. Exclusive rights till what time? 2050 tak. Till 2050 only US can do that. So we'll be discussing all of this in a detailed manner. Let's start with the basic mapping first. Everyone open your map of Asia and let's try to decode. See, Asia can be broadly divided into, look here, if this is your Asia, you can divide Asia into North Asia, South Asia, East Asia, West Asia, Southeast Asia, and so, right? So first, look here. When it comes to North Asia, it is only Russia. Russia is the only country in the North Asia. Central Asia has 5 countries, right? South Asia has 8 countries. Southeast Asia, 11. East Asia, not many. It is China, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, and Philippines, right? Taiwan, if you consider as a separate country, but we respect the China +1, right? China +1, we consider as part of their territory itself, right? Mongolia also. When you come to the West Asia, this is a very big number, almost 18, 19 countries are there. Looks very small, but the number is more in this, right? Large number of countries. So here, first, Russia, I think everyone is clear with this. Before we go, look at the facts. The facts are 30% of the total land area is in Asia. Latitude 10 degrees to 80 degrees north. Longitude 26 to 170, one of the widest longitudes also. Only some of the islands of the Indonesia lie towards the south of the equator. Majority of the Asia lies north of the equator, except for few islands. If you look into, more than 85% of the area, if you see, it is present north of equator, right? The largest continent and the most populated continent also. Roughly 9,600 odd kilometers will be the extent from east to west. But remember, the extent from Africa's eastern part to western part, it is also similar kind. It is more than what the east-west extent of Asia is there, right? Africa is way bigger, but Africa is near to the equator, so it looks smaller, right? It's like a round earth you are opening up and converting into a square, right? So those areas which are near to the polar, they seem to be looking bigger, but in fact, Africa's east to west width is more as compared to the east to west width of the Asia, right? Some of the famous facts. So North Asia includes what? Russia. Central Asia includes 5 countries. South Asia includes 8 countries. East Asia, it roughly 5 odd countries, and this is 11 countries. Here, 18 to 19 odd countries are there. South Asia, this is where India lies, right? Every region has its own association. Let's say Southeast Asia, we call this as ASEAN. Okay? SARC. Okay. Next, East Asian countries, to an extent, if they wanted to deal with these two, they have created Shanghai, yes, SCO. Basically, Central Asia are Islamic countries. Now, China, which is present here, has borders with these Central Asian countries. See here, this is China. China has borders with Central Asian countries, like it has Kazakhstan border, it has Kyrgyzstan border, and it has Tajikistan border. And this part of China, we call this as Xinjiang province, right? And Xinjiang province is the backward area of China. Like India also has certain backward areas, right? So this is one of the least developed areas of China, and deserts are there here. So Islamic population is also there here, and the revolutions are more here. People of this part of China are comparatively socio-economically little backward, and as they have contacts with the Central Asia, China always fears for terrorism. In order to deal with this terrorism, China has come up with Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India became a member, and it said, Pakistan, tum bhi member ban jao. India and Pakistan are also members in this, right? Remember this. Apart from that, you have these countries. But there is a country which believes in the principles of non-alignment and no negotiations when it comes to war and so. They only want peace in the Central Asia. They do not form any organizations. They do not form any associations, right? What is that country? I'll tell. Okay. One country. If you remember that exceptions, things will be easier for you, right? So here, except for that country, majority of the Central Asian countries will be part of SCO. You need to understand why an organization formed. So likewise, those countries which are there in the Southeast Asia, they formed ASEAN. They said Association of Southeast Asian Nations, right? ASEAN. Likewise, we said SARC, South Asia's Association for Regional Cooperation. Now in West Asia, those who are dealing with this Gulf, Persian Gulf, they went for Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, right? What is the main aim of SCO? It is regional peace, anti-terrorism. Have you ever heard of RATS? Ever heard of this RATS? How is RATS associated with this? Anti-terrorism. It comes under which body? Is it under SARC? SCO. Okay. And some international backing also. So understand the purpose first, right? So Russia, it needs to enter. Russian route to trade with India is one route. Another route, which was a very big route which we follow, is from the St. Petersburg, right, which comes from the east. So the biggest problem is this: Russia wants access towards Africa, Russia wants access towards India. So this is also a bigger route, this is also a very bigger route, and this is a decent route. But even this has too many disturbances. Russia wants access. That access, it can enter to Central Asia, come to Iran, right? Or else it can enter into Black Sea and find this route. This is a route which we yesterday explored. So India also needs to have this connectivity in order to connect with Russia to India. That is how the INSTC, International North-South Transit Corridor, has been set up. This transit corridor has 13 states involved, 13 countries involved. In these 13 countries, the ultimate agenda is from Mumbai or Gujarat, we wanted to reach to Russia. In this, whatever the countries that come across, let's say it is Iran, right? We said Iran mein Chabahar port India has taken. From there, yesterday I have shown you a garland kind of Daleram, Zaranj. Okay? These are the places yesterday I have told you, right? So from here, this is one route we explored Afghanistan, so that we can have a control on Pakistan in one or the other way. But this was before Taliban was there. Later, Iran entered into Caspian Sea. From Caspian Sea, You can go, but what we did was, here we involved Azerbaijan, we involved Armenia, okay, Georgia. These are the countries which are bordering. They are present between Black Sea and Caspian Sea. So here you have some mountains. These mountains which are present between Black Sea and Caspian Sea, we call them as Caucasian mountains. Okay? Caucasian mountains means what? Those mountains which are present between, this is your Caspian Sea and this is your Black Sea, which are present between Black Sea and Caspian Sea. Right? Here you have Armenia, you have Azerbaijan, are one of the major countries. Between Armenia and Azerbaijan, there are some disputed areas. That is Lachin Corridor, Megri Corridor, and Nagorno-Karabakh. Okay? These are the three places. I'll talk and I'll explain you with respect to maps in detailed manner. Don't worry. So broadly, if you see Asia, Asia has too many problems. One, India, Pakistan, North Korea, South Korea. Middle East, all the countries are into disputes. When you go to this South China Sea, here in South China Sea, you need to know three places which are very, very important. One is Scarborough Shoals, Paracel Islands, and Spratly Islands. So these three, Spratly, Paracel, and Scarborough Shoals. China has claimed that this part of territory is mine, and it called this as a 9-dash line. 9-dash line, when it said that 9-dash line, it said this is the line which controls my boundary. And this boundary is disputed among Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei. Okay? All these countries, they have problem with China. Why? Because this 9-dash line, exclusive economic zone of this particular line falls into the conflict areas of Philippines exclusive economic zone. Right? Every country has an exclusive economic zone. I hope everyone knows the basics. So if 9-dash line is extending till here, Indonesia is having problem, Brunei is having problem, Philippines is having problem, Vietnam is having problem. Now, these three islands you need to know. And disputed between which country, you need to know. Here you have disputes. So that means wherever there are disputes, the trade routes do not encourage there. Mean the public do not want to encourage in trade there. Right? So they wanted to have a peaceful route. Now in order to avoid this route, an alternative routes were developed. First understand, kahani samajh lo, what are we going to do? So between Bali and Lombok, this is your Lombok and this is your Bali. Between these two, a strait that wanted to be developed. That strait is Lombok Strait. An alternative strait to Strait of Malacca, because you have to enter, pay taxes to Singapore. Instead, rather come here, you cannot go from here. Instead of entering into the South China Sea, which is a disturbed area, this is an alternative route, right? Now, to make you understand in the simplest format, let me give you the overview. For example, if you have to go around Africa and trade, or this is route number 1. The route number 2 is going through Suez Canal. You know, what is the difference in terms of kilometers? Any guess? How much? What could be the distance from here if you go around? The difference is 58 days. Okay? And the difference is 27,000 kilometers. Very huge. No shipping company, no one would want to go through this road, right? And going around Africa is always a trouble, because I told you Africa do not have national ports. Agar beach mein aapko koi dikkat aaya, there should be some ports, there should be some kind of mechanism that has to help you. That helping hands are always available in the Red Sea. They are available in the Persian Gulf, Mediterranean Sea, because this is a fast moving shipping route. It's not only about the route as such, it is also the problem resolving. So countries, they do monitor, they do border patrolling and so. So this is the background of your Asia. Our idea is to discuss South China Sea, the countries involved here, then West Asia, the issues involved here. Central Asia, it's observational mapping. Mostly places in news, couple of news places are there, like Kazakhstan mein, there is a cosmodrome. Cosmodrome is nothing but if you, Russia wants to launch its satellites. From where will it launch? I told France will launch its satellites from French Guiana, right? Which is located near to the equator. But what about Russia? Russia takes the help of Kazakhstan. Okay? Why? Because Kazakhstan has endless grasslands. There are two things that will be taken into consideration for a launching site. One, it should be near to the equator, number one, right? And it should be on the eastern side where the sea is there, so that you can fall into the sea if any chances are there. Or else, if you don't have access near to the sea, near to the equator and there is no sea, the alternative area which you will find will be an area where there is full of grasslands. Because endless grasslands, even if any accidents are there, that will fall. So the launch of any Russian satellite is costly. Why? Because it launches majority of its satellites from Kazakhstan, right? Because, and this is rented by US, this is rented by Russia for very long time period. A long-term lease was taken from Kazakhstan. So recently, one of their spaceship which wanted to go out, it failed. So that's why if those kind of places are there, that will be news. But it is not of so much of significance. आपको जानना चाहिए, चलो ये है, कभी elimination technique में हम use करेंगे, right? Then comes the central part. Do we have any relationship with any of these countries? Right? Tajikistan. Tajikistan gave an air base to India. Right? That means it is very important for us. Now, India, Prime Minister, did he go in the last 1 year? Then that becomes little important. It doesn't mean that every country the PM goes, you have to go and study. Not required. But you come to the Middle East or the West Asia, this has now become the important area for the globe. So that's why we have to study in detail. First, while you're reading the handout, please have a perspective reading. There will be a lot of information. Don't get carried away by information and you want to remember each and everything. No, you just need to know the headlines. I would recommend the best way to read is the diagrams and all can be seen in the digital format in a neat manner, right? So that becomes little easy for you. So look, one by one we'll deal. So lot of issues to be dealt. Now first come to the classification. Come to Central Asia. Central Asia has 5 countries. What are they? Kazakhstan, see here. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. Do we have borders with any of the above? No, we don't have borders with any of them, right? So this is Wagwan corridor. Okay? Afghanistan ke saath. So Kazakhstan has border with China, Kyrgyzstan has, and Tajikistan has, right? So here is the place where terror activities sponsored by Pakistan also there. So that's why China don't like it, right? Look here, there are certain water bodies which are present here. This is called as Aral Sea. Okay? Aral Sea, look here, it is present between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Now, 2 important rivers that you are supposed to know here, Amudarya, Sirdarya, right? These are the 2 important rivers which drain into this. One is Amudarya and Sirdarya. Right? Aral Sea. Aral Sea is also important for a reason. It is shrinking faster. Right? It is shrinking. So shrinking sea, or Aral Sea is also shrinking, Caspian Sea is also shrinking, Lake Chad also we have learned, right? Likewise, shrinking lakes are always important, and the rate of shrinking in Aral Sea is extremely high. Okay, 5 countries, but our interest would be more in knowing the capital cities north and south of this part of the region. Repeat after me. Kazakhstan, capital is Astana. Kazakhstan, Astana. Then Kyrgyzstan's capital is Bishkek. Okay? Bishkek. Kazakhstan, Astana, Kyrgyzstan, Bishkek, and the place where Tashkent, our Lal Bahadur Shastri, has breathed his last breath. Where is it? It is in Uzbekistan. Okay? Then come to Turkmenistan. The capital is Ashgabat. Ashgabat. Turkmenistan, Ashgabat. And the last one is your Tajikistan. It is Dushanbe. Dushanbe. Right? Tajikistan, Dushanbe. Uzbekistan, Tashkent. Kazakhstan, Astana. Bishkek for Kyrgyzstan. Right? So Turkmenistan, Ashgabat. Now arrange these capitals from north to south. Kazakhstan's Astana, Kyrgyzstan's Bishkek, Uzbekistan's Tashkent, Dushanbe is for Tajikistan, and the last one is Ashgabat. So you need to know this north-south because there are examinations which questions are asked in this direction. Arrange the following from north and south. Now, what are the relationship between India and these countries? In an overview, India Prime Minister went to Kazakhstan. No one went there. Modi went there. Why? What is there in Kazakhstan that India needs? Uranium. Okay? So, in the last 7 to 8 years, if you look into NSG, Nuclear Supplier Group, okay, is India part of NSG? Then why are we getting that nuclear? India has nuclear power plants, right? Where do we get this nuclear power plants? So, firstly, non-proliferation treaty. What does it say? Non-proliferation is no, it doesn't mean no first use. It is not no first. See, basically, non-proliferation means India feels non-proliferation treaty is a discriminatory treaty and we did not sign. Non-proliferation treaty says nuclear powers should be only with 5 countries who are P5 states: US, UK, Russia, China, France. Other than these 5 countries, the proliferation should not be there to any of the countries because they are P5 countries and they'll have those who are haves and those should have nots. Now, these 5 countries plus 4 more countries, today we have it. Israel claims it has it, India, Pakistan, and then our, right, Bablu, right, the North Korea. So, they claim to have it. So, in totality, these are the countries which are currently having nuclear powers. India is also having nuclear weapons now. How can you say that you give away your nuclear technology? So, they say that we will give you uranium to you, but you make sure you be part of the non-proliferation treaty. India feels this treaty is discriminatory. When it is discriminatory, why will India says if we have to give out, let everyone give out, not just only India. Right? Now you understood what do you mean by non-proliferation. Now India's nuclear policy says that no first use. Right? We will not use nuclear weapon for the first time. Until and unless someone uses against us, yes, we don't use first, but we will not let others use for the second time. This is the principle that India follows. Not just India, China also follows the same. China also has no first use principle. So that's why whenever India and China goes, their confidence of the globe is that ye dono ke paas ye policy hai, no first use. Pakistan has it. Nowhere it is explicitly mentioned in their treaty that no first use. इसलिए डरते लोग. Pakistan, whatever it says, it can violate that at any point of time. right? It is said that whatever the technology that Iran is having, kahin na kahin Pakistan might be the one which is giving it. Okay, those are controversial, and so uranium is present in Kazakhstan. So Modi went there, and we have exemptions. India has exemptions because those parties which are only part of the nuclear supplier group will get raw material, right? Nuclear supplier group will get raw materials. So if suppose, though we are not part of it, how are we getting the raw materials? So we have some exemptions, and so one, today's homework for you is go and read what is nuclear supplier group, what is Australia group, what is non-proliferation treaty. If you have read your NCRTs, you would have been knowing that non-proliferation treaty मतलब क्या है. इतना background समझ में आ गया अभी. You understood the background. Let's go. We wanted to explore this. See, Uzbekistan. Why did Lal Bahadur Shastri go there? Why? See, you need to know that all these countries were once part of Soviet Union. Soviet Union got disintegrated in the year 1990. So we had very good relations with Soviet Russia, right? So back then, it was these were parts of the Soviet Union which got disintegrated in the 1990, and that is when the conflicts of this part of the region also arose. Okay? Cultural also, language also, a lot of issues are there, economic backwardness also. Disintegration happened, and then the problems are there. Now, can you remember Kazakhstan, Astana? There are more handouts. Inka untai kada? Huh? No, take it. You'll get it. You'll get more handouts. And those who are watching online, for you, there's a link given in the description. You click on the link and you can download from there also. All these files are already available. Okay. Can you recall the capitals? Kazakhstan, Astana, Kyrgyzstan, yes. Tajikistan, Dushanbe. Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tashkent. North and south, you're supposed to remember. Come back. The next divisions is East Asia. East Asia includes China, Mongolia, North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. Now come to Japan. Here, examiner is also interested in knowing the names of the islands. There are 5 major islands of, yes, repeat after me. First, understand Honshu, Hokkaido, Shikoku, Kyushu, Okinawa. Right? These are the 5 major islands. Repeat after me. Honshu, Hokkaido, Shikoku, Kyushu, Okinawa. Right? Honshu. Repeat. Say. Honshu, Hokkaido, Shikoku, Kyushu, Okinawa. These are the group of 5 islands. These group of 5 islands together, it is called as Japan. Now there is a disputed territory between Japan and Russia, that is Kuril Islands. I'll show you that what are these Kuril Islands in some time, right? So this is your Japan. Now come to North Korea and South Korea. See, North Korea and South Korea is divided by a latitude. What is the name? What is the parallel line? Yes. What is the parallel line between Canada and USA? The border line. Yes. 49th parallel line सुना है? 38th parallel line, 42nd parallel line. See, parallel lines are those parallel lines. Let's say 10-degree line is there. It divides Andaman and Nicobar, right? So 39th parallel line is the one which will divide Canada and USA. Like that, some important parallel lines. I'll discuss that in the little later half. Okay, those are little interesting aspects. Now, North Korea and South Korea, these are also present in the East Asia, Japan, right? So, see here, there are certain seas that you need to know. One, Sea of Japan is present between Japan and the Russia. Next, Yellow Sea, East China Sea, South China Sea. How many countries here? China, Mongolia, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, right? 5 major countries. Come to South Asia. South Asia is consisting of, okay, one more thing, look here. You have Taiwan, Macau and Hong Kong. See, India and China believes that Taiwan is their part of their territory, right? It is an autonomous region like the way we had once in Kashmir. So Macau and Hong Kong also. China plus 1 means what? Yes, Taiwan. China plus 2, these. So China plus 1, India believes in China plus 1. We don't dispute with them. We say that that is their internal matter. We never comment also. So here, as on date, Taiwan is not a separate country, right? I told you Xinjiang province. Is it recognized by? No. So this is Xinjiang province and this is proper China. This part of China is fully developed and this part of China is a backward area. Why? Because deserts are there and infrastructure is not fully built. Islamic population is more, right? Come. Next, come to South Asia. South Asia has 8 countries. See here. 1. Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and you have Maldives. These are the 8 countries. To deal with that, we have SARC. Now, whenever we wanted to avoid Pakistan in engaging, but we want all of these countries to come together and sit and discuss, we said, the best way is we engage with Afghanistan in a separate way. We'll have special relationships. And then we said, Bay of Bengal ke liye we bought BIMSTEC. In the BIMSTEC, we have Maldives also, we have Sri Lanka also, we have Bangladesh also, you have Myanmar also, right? We have invitees of these countries because they are supposed to trade. But we avoid Pakistan. This is the best way to avoid Pakistan. Pakistan is not part of BIMSTEC. So this is how you are supposed to remember, right? So 8 countries. Next, come to Southeast Asia. See here. Southeast Asia, in this one latest addition, that is Timor-Leste. This is your Timor-Leste. This is the latest country in the Southeast Asia. Total 11 countries are there. Earlier, this Timor-Leste, only in the latest time it got 2002, it became independent, right? And look at the 10 countries that are there here. Start. Myanmar is part of Southeast, not part of SARC. It is not part of SARC. If at all examiner wants to confuse you, he will give you which of the following countries, right? He'll add Myanmar here, right? Myanmar is not part. 1, Myanmar. And the group of small extended countries, that is Vietnam has sea. Then the only landlocked country here, Laos. Laos is a landlocked country. Then Thailand, it has coastal area. Myanmar has coastal area. One landlocked country, that is Laos. Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand and Myanmar. Look here, the Thailand has this extended landmass. This is extended landmass. The mainland of Thailand with that of the extended lands which is connecting with Malaysia. So this is called as Isthmus of Kra. What is an isthmus? Isthmus consists of 2 major landmasses which connects the 2 major landmasses. Strait means which connects 2 major water bodies. Okay. Then see here, Malaysia. Here, Indonesia and Malaysia, they share a common boundary line in this. The northern part is Malaysia and the southern part is Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the largest populated country for Islam, right? One of the largest populated country for Islam. Then this is your Philippines, right? So count the total number of countries. 10 or 11? 11. Right? Now try to recall Indonesia, Malaysia, and the group of 5 countries, Myanmar, Vietnam has a border with sea, then Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, right? Malaysia, Indonesia already we counted, Philippines, Timor, let's see, right? So, and then Brunei. Brunei is a small nation which is present here, right? So, these are the 10 major countries which are present in the Southeast Asia. 11. Taiwan is not a separate country, right? But if they say Taiwan also, you say yes. Which of the following are considered to be Southeast Asia? If China is there, Taiwan is also there, no? Yes. So look here. If a ship wants to travel, either it goes north of this or it goes south of this. What is this? Strait of Malacca. And this is your South China Sea. This is East China Sea, right? And here, small inlets are there. But the problem of this part of the region is there are too many underwater mountains. Okay? Sea mounts are many. When sea mounts are many, the islands which are there, hardly they are 20-30 meters below the sea level. Okay? The landmass is there 20 to 30. So the only dedicated routes are there through which you can travel. That is the fundamental problem of the Southeast Asia, right? So the alternative route I already told you, from here they wanted to develop and enter and move out, right? Lombok Strait, and the travel time also is good. There are good number of ports, but the only problem here is, see here, this is your Indo-Australian plate. Indo-Australian plate, this is oceanic plate, right? And these two plates collide with each other. So don't you think there will be volcanoes? And if this is continental plate or oceanic plate, let's say this part is ocean and oceanic plate, if the collision is there, will you have the continental shelf? You will not have continental shelf. That means this entire stretch, Java, Sumatra, and Bali, Lombok, there is no continental shelves in the southern side. Apart from that, you will have trenches. Java Trench, Sumatra Trench, Bali Trench, Mariana is in the east, right? So trenches are possible only in two ways. Whenever oceanic plate and oceanic plate collide with each other, trenches can be formed. Next, a continent plate and an oceanic plate, when they collide with each other, trenches can be formed. Only in two conditions. Don't think that trenches will be formed when two plates are moving apart. See, when two plates are moving apart, volcanism will come out, right? So wherever trenches are there, there you won't have continental shelf, right? One more thing. Remember this, the distance when you calculate from India, the mainland of India, let's say Chennai to Andaman, and the Nicobar to this Sumatra. This is your Sumatra Island. The distance from the mainland of India towards the Andaman is more as compared to the distance between the Greater Nicobar Islands and the Sumatra, right? So these islands are way near to Sumatra. And do you remember the hotspots which I told you? What are the 4 major hotspots which are present in India? One is Western Himalayas, other is Western Ghats and Sri Lanka, third one is Indo-Burma region, fourth one is, yes, Sundaland. So this is your Indo-Burma, and the fourth one is Sundaland. So Nicobar में जो vegetation है, that has commonality with, yes, Sumatra, Java, right? That means their cultures will also be same. The way they live is also same. Yes. So that means the Nicobar Islands are more closely located towards this, and also the cultures plus the vegetation is similar kind of vegetation. The vegetation of Andaman is similar to that of the vegetation that you get to see in the northeast, but the vegetation of Nicobar, it is similar to those that you see in the Sumatra, right? Java, Sumatra. So These are some of the basics that you are supposed to know. Now come to the divisions that as West Asia. West Asia has roughly 19 countries. How to remember them? It's quite easy. You know, Red Sea bordering countries. Will now learn the countries that are having borders with the Persian Gulf, right? And if you have to move from Persian Gulf to the Caspian Sea, what are the connections that you have? You just need to observe that. No, observe. Okay, one by one. First, I want you to look into the map and identify the countries that are there in the Persian Gulf. Okay, Persian Gulf. Come to Persian Gulf. Persian Gulf. Look here. This is Gulf of Oman. So this tip which you see is also part of Oman, right? And we call this as Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz. Now, majority of the strait, it comes under the continental shelf area of the Iran. But see here, Oman, this is your Oman, right? This is UAE. What is UAE? Full form, United Arab Emirates. With whom are they united? Group of 7 families are nothing but 7 kingdoms, right? Confederation kind of. They came together and said that we are United Arab Emirates. There are 7 emirates or 7 kings or 7 rulers. They came together and they formed this. They have common principles. So this is another island. This is a small island you will get to see here. What is this? Bahrain. Bahrain. And this is your Qatar, right? This is Bahrain. And here you will get an island. This is Kuwait, right? This is your Kuwait. And then this is your Saudi. This is Iraq. This is Iran. So look how many countries we got. Oman, UAE, Qatar, okay? Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran. So these are the countries which are present in the Persian Gulf. See, the interesting aspects of this Persian Gulf is the Persian Gulf do not have a depth of not more than 60 meters. बहुत कम depth है. And this is also marginal sea. What is a marginal sea? A marginal sea is a sea which has full of continental shelf. When you have continental shelf, oil can be more. Now, where is much of the oil present and where are they exploring all of this? See, you first need to know the presence of oil. Oil hai kahan par? How are they exploring? And so. So, oil is majorly explored from South Paras. So, the South Paras is a bit different. Look at this map. Try to understand this. Israel is present here. This is your Israel. In this, let me zoom in. You have a river which is flowing in this manner, and when you come here, you have a sea called Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee. Sea of Galilee, or you have Dead Sea also, and this river name is Jordan River. Right? The name of the river is Jordan. Look here. This is your Gaza, and this on the western side of this Jordan River. It is western side of the Jordan River. We call this as West Bank, and rest of this is Israel. And this water body we call it as Gulf of Aqaba. Okay, Gulf of Aqaba. Does Israel has border with Red Sea? No. It has borders with Gulf of Aqaba. Mediterranean Sea के साथ border है. So what Israel advantage is that it can access the ports of this water body. It can also access the ports of. So Suez Canal is there. Suez Canal is built from here. right? So one, Israel has naval power, one Gulf of Aqaba, and also yes. Now this Mediterranean Sea में सबसे बड़ा port है Haifa. This is called as Haifa port. Haifa is one of the most important ports. Look here, Israel, if suppose this is your Saudi, this is your Saudi. Now come back. Israel has disputes with the countries in the north, the countries in the south, and its inlet to an extent, this is West Bank. So to the north also, right? So here there was a war that was fought, which is called as 5-day war, right? In that time, at that point of time, all the countries which are present to its border, including Egypt, it has bet all these countries and it has gained that control, right? So that's why Israel, their belief and principle is that every citizen who is born in Israel will undergo 2 years of conscription. Conscription means it is 2 years of mandatory military services. Like that, there are few other countries in the north where the population is less. Israel's total population is how much? 60 lakhs to 1 crore population. That is the total population. Very less population. Now, those countries' population who is very less, they'll go for conscription methodologies. Means mandatory military services they are supposed to do for 2 years. That means every citizen is a soldier. That is what they believe. Right? Now come back. Israel is present here. Iran is present here. What is the conflict between these two countries? In Iran has military groups are there, but first my question is, what is the fundamental issue between Iran and Israel? Funding and all came later, but what is the fundamental? Religion. Okay? Religion is a fundamental issue. See, basically it's a Shia based, proud Shiite country. Okay? It's a very proud Shiite country, and this is a proud Sunni country. The differences are there in Saudi also, Iran also, but there is a common religion which is placed at the Jerusalem, and within this Jerusalem itself you will find all the three. See, this is a complex. Okay? You have a masjid, you also have a mosque, you also have a church. So this small area of Jerusalem, this is where all the conflict started for all of this. Yesterday itself I have told you the differences between Sunni and Shia, and here Jews believe that this is their rightful land and they need a land for themselves to live, and they choose this part of the land because their religious head is present there, and they feel that we are the motherly people or the aborigines of that particular area. But the religious conflicts have led to the national conflicts over a period of time, and then the war continues. So the ultimate agenda of the Shiites is to, they believe those who do not believe in Islam are all kafirs, right? Kafirs are the ones who do not follow the religious practices. So for them, the first kafir is none other than Israel, Jews. See, why did Christianity come out? 2 minutes I'll spend, not more than that. Why did Christianity come out? From which religion? Let's say Buddhism came out from where? From the Hinduism only. It was Hinduism which was first there, and then the rituals and practices are very strong. So some section of the society did not like it, and it was a clergy class that was created, and these differences led to the creation of Buddhism and Jainism also. Your Christianity came out from Judaism, Jews, right? Christians and Jews are not in good terms. Why? Yes. Jesus, I don't want to say this on the record, but one religion is oppressed by another religion. This is their fundamental belief, right? They believe that Lord Jesus was put into such a kind of situation by the other religion. This is the kind of aspects that they deal with. So that's why the rules and regulations in these religion are very core and crux. It can't be just, these countries cannot just come into peace just like that. There is a religion in between, there is a story, there is a maybe it's a mythology, whatever. The beliefs are very strong. So always standstills and peace is something which we need to achieve. So Iran and Israel ka jo conflict hai, it is actually this mythological conflict with that of the religious conflict. Later it went on to the warfare. Wars have been there since the beginning. Earlier man used to fight with stones, later with sticks, again tools, then came the talwar, now the modern warfare with drones and so. This fight was very common. As we started to evolve with technology, we are fighting. Now come to Iran. Iran, in order to deal with Israel, what does it do is, it has created the axis. What is this axis called? This axis is nothing but the resistance axis. Basically, here it created rebels. Here also they created rebels. Here also they created rebels. Here also they created rebels. What Iran does is, Iran gives funding. Funding to them, funding to them, funding to them, funding to them. So why? Because Israel, khatam karo isko. Okay? They do not want Israel to be there. This is their ultimate agenda. But now that US came in between, so US became a major enemy. But sometime later, they'll sit down at a peace and then they'll think, acha, ye bhi hai, to isko bhi khatam karna hai. So Israel fear is that they are developing nuclear weapon. But the complaint of Israel is way back since 2007, 2008 onwards, they are telling that it is just about to get critical, just about to get critical. But we never know when will it become critical also. But come back. So in totality, you understood the major conflict. Now, how does Israel gives funding? Through what groups? This is very important. Question can be asked in this area. Come to Yemen. Yemen has Houthis, and these are notorious. Why? See, you have Red Sea here. What is this? Through the Red Sea, there are cables which connects Europe with India. Okay? So Houthi rebels, who are present in Yemen, they always threaten that I'll cut these cables. Okay? And they did it also once. That is when a blackout happens. See, how much percentage of the internet do you think is currently satellite based and moving? What is the percentage? 98% on an average when you take is done through cables. 2% is through satellite. The banking transactions that you do, all of a sudden which you do, you think that it is happening through this is just a local communication that is happening through your satellites, but 98% as on date is still with cables. Some data suggests that 95 also, जो भी है 95 से ऊपर तक जितने भी data है, it is done through cables. So Elon Musk now wanted to bring in Starlink can do that. That's a different story. So here you understood that Houthi rebels, these are also sponsored by Iran. Then come to Lebanon. Lebanon is a small country here. It has border with Israel. So they are Hezbollah. Okay. Then comes Gaza Strip, Palestine. Right? Palestine consists of Gaza Strip and West Bank. So if this is your Israel, this is the river of Jordan. This is called as West Bank. And if this is your Mediterranean Sea, this is your Gaza Strip. Both of them are considered to be Palestine. Right? Now this Palestine has Hamas. They have Iraq also, Hasad al-Shababi. So in Iraq, it is Hasad al-Shababi. So this is also a group which is located here. It is also funded. Now it becomes very, very important for you. They might ask you match the following. Right? Islamic Revolutionary Guards and Corps are nothing but Iran has 23 provinces. Each of these province, they have their own commander. Before the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini has created such a kind of military system where he said that, Acha, if I am not there, Until you get a command from the highest authority, you are meant to fight. This is the last farman they put, and he is no longer there. Right? No, he is gone. Then these people are always at war. So firstly, they have to recognize I have a head. And this is a Shiite community. Shiite communities believe in what? The lineage has to come from the bloodline of, yes. So in such a scenarios, the problem is, one has to first recognize that I am the head. So you have a president also, you have an army chief also. Now for this president and army chief, there is a supreme leader in Iran. That supreme leader is a religious leader. If that leader is the head of not just Iran, he is also the head of the entire Shiites. Pakistan, people who are there, who also follows the Shia community, for them also the head is this. That's why they always look out for the farmans which are issued from there. Right? So if you kill him, you think that the regime is going to change? He has created such a kind of regime where these 23 militants, on one day, the government says that we are at peace. The very next day, they bomb it. Because no instructions were given to them, because these 23, whoever is there, they are on their own. They have to be told that you have to stop. Right? So likewise, there is a, yes.
So what about the people's
People? Mean?
They have nothing to do with the...
No. See, people are nothing but religious believers. You kill the head of the religious believer. Right? Earlier, Iran really had that oppression. They feel the heat of... Iran was once considered to be a modern nation until 1970s. Right? The regime is changed by the Ayatollah Khamenei only. And he has got in such kind of restrictions, especially the women restrictions are very high. So it was a very difficult change in 1970s when the world was trying to get modernized. India 1990 LPG we are trying, but they, from the modernization to the conservation, the conservative reforms they have taken up. People are divided on this. Men want such a kind of society, but with good income. So the problem is, Iran, as long as it was trading in dollars, there was no problem. The day when they decided, I'm going to nationalize my entire oil, like the Venezuela did, and selling of oil, they get so much of income. So they don't tax much of their public. People are happy. But whenever you are taxing, we are not taxing public, your first thing is to do what? You have to create infrastructure. The day when you don't create infrastructure for the nation and you start to give freebies, free ration, free wheat, free atta, everything you give free, why will they work? So this is the fundamental problem. They are used to not to work, but the religion made sure that the principles are strict and the policies are strict. So there is a set kind of methodology that they followed. Over a period, the oppression, the anti-incumbency started from the women only there. But when you kill the head of the state, all the others seem to be very small now. Even people support is there for the current regime that is there. So, but the current regime wants peace in one or the other way, but at the same time, the revenge for the religious killings, head of the religion. So, it's a paradox which Iran is living in. So, they ask for what? They ask for peace, conditions of the peace. One, USA will never attack, Israel will never attack again. And Strait of Hormuz is mine, I'll decide my own terms. What are the damages that you have done? Pay for the damages. Right? And no involvement. Iran will trade in whatever the currency that they want. Right? So, any currency that they want to trade, they can trade and remove all the sanctions. So the first sanctions were actually put by US on Iran. Sanctions means what? They said that those who trade with Iran, I am not going to trade with them. US said. That is where their economic backbone is hit. Those countries, CAATSA is what? CAATSA is an agreement which in any country that signs with USA. CAATSA is an exemption that if sanctioned countries ke saath, it will give you exemptions that you go and trade. India has that CAATSA exemptions. So that's why we go and trade with Russia in spite of sanctions. We go and trade with Iran because we are the net exporters in terms of US. US ke liye, we net export. We are not importers when we calculate the balance of trade. Why? We give services. Okay? That's why it doesn't like India. Tweet you have seen 3 days before. They said, we are gangsters with laptop. This is what the perception of India, right? So he said, gangs. I mean, hell moon, that's different. But I wanted to say the perception of US. गाली दे भी दिया, लेकिन अच्छा गाली दिया. उन्होंने कहा था gangsters with laptop. I mean, the kind of filthy language which he uses in the last time also I told. मतलब मेरे लेवल पे अगर बताना है, if a candidate who is failed 3 times in the college फिर से नकल करते हुए कॉपी किया, तब भी पकड़ा गया, रेस्ट्रिकेट किया, बाहर जाके सिगरेट या पान खाते हुए वो जो गाली देता है ना, उससे गंदगी गाली ट्रंप इस्तेमाल करता है for another nation. Even that fellow will not speak in such a way, filthy way, but Trump speaks in such filthy languages, right? All of a sudden he speaks X and then turns around. He comes up with and complete 100% opposite language you get. Oh, that's a great country and so on. So the true understanding is that you should not take him seriously, right? Yes. Come back. That was on a fun note. अब तो नाम याद रहेगा. Houthis, Yemen. Hezbollah is in. Yes. Hamas is in. Yes. Next. Hashad al-Shababi. Spelling is wrong here. Hashad al-Shababi. It is Iraq. Likewise, there are छोटे-मोटे organizations भी है that Iraq always gives. See here. Iraq में you have Kataib Hezbollah. This is also only this name you remember. ठीक है. बाकी these are called as the Axis powers, which Iran does. So this is not liked by the Israel. So Israel will make sure that it is friends with everyone in a way, engaged till the extent, but it always wants to take away the nuclear powers of the Iran, because Iran is the only one which is having aspirations. Israel and US are always good friends, right? Because much of the patents that US uses is actually owned by them, and the technologies and all are owned by Israel. So Israel and US will always be good friends. But when it comes to the rest of the countries, Saudi Arabia, see, when they lost their all the infrastructures, Kuwait, when everyone lost their all the infrastructures here, it is US which came and gave funding in the beginning, and they said that I'll build infrastructure for you, you start digging oil. But Iran के लिए ऐसा नहीं है. Iran is not a country which needs support of another country so that they have to rebuild their infrastructure. No. See, at the time of Israel war, all these countries have spent so much. And the US came and said that you build the infrastructure, I'll give you loans. And in the due process, they made their own peace treaty. And they made their security treaty. Like Saudi Arabia went and said that whenever Saudi is in danger, you have to come. Right? Security treaties they have done. And they have done in a very silent manner. Very, very silent manner. So today, when Saudi goes out for any external aggression, the US will also come along with that. Though they are not part of that NATO. So in totality, it is, and silent agreements have always been done. Right? So Iran, problem is, all these countries, they provide bases. They provide bases for US. Okay? Military bases are there, and outside US there are 700 bases for USA. India has 1, right? USA has 700 bases outside, that too military bases, and these are the countries which are giving shelter to the US. So it said that आपकी जगह से अगर बॉम्ब आया तो मैं आपको भी बॉम्ब डाल दूंगा, right? That means in spite of they are all Gulf nations. So there are some disputes, internal disputes between this Qatar and you have Qatar. This is your Qatar. Between Qatar and Iran, there is a small island. We call this as South Paras. South Paras is an island which is disputed between Iran and Qatar. Dikkat kya hai na, this Saudi Arabia and Qatar are also not in good terms. Right? So Saudi said, I'll cut you off. Okay, I'll make you an island. You do whatever you want. Because they do not have agriculture. The common problem of these areas is they don't have agriculture, but Iran has. Iran to an extent has agriculture. When you broadly look into the topography of Iran, the western parts of the Iran are mountains. They are very strong mountains. And here you will see a river. There is also a delta that is entering into this Persian Gulf. This deltas, you have a delta. Look here, two major rivers that drain into this. Look at the name of this delta, Shatt al-Arab. This is the Shatt al-Arab delta, right? Which drains into, here it is written as Arabian Gulf, but it is the Persian Gulf. Okay, it drains into Persian Gulf. Shatab Arab. Remember this, right? So Lebanon, Hezbollah, Yemen, Houthis, Gaza, Hamas, Hutsi and Tutsi. It's a conflict between Rwanda, right? Two tribes, genocides, right? Ethnic genocides. They are not militants. So these are militants which are backed by them. Now come back. Look here. Persian Gulf countries, can you recall? Let's count the total number of countries. Number 1, Oman. It also has border with Persian Gulf. This tip is nothing but Oman, right? So 1 is Oman, 2 is UAE Arab, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these are the countries which are also part of GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council. Saudi, I did not add Saudi. Saudi Arabia also, right? Now, all these countries, they produce oil, but there is one country which actually produces more liquid nitrogen gas, LNG. Which country? 40% of the total global LNG, it is Qatar. Now for us, problem is we import from Iran, no doubt, but we import more from Qatar, right? For if we have to get out from this gases, and so this gas is very important for us, right? So we trade a lot of aspects with Qatar. Iran is a strategic development partner for us, but Qatar is an energy security partner for us. We wanted to trade with this Qatar, but problem is this strait is now closed. So you can now remember these countries. Close your eyes and please try to recall. Imagine that you are traveling from the Gulf of Oman and entered into the Persian Gulf. On the right side, you will see Iran, and on the left side, first country you will see is Oman, and then UAE on the left. You go little further, you will see Qatar, and going further, you will see Bahrain. And the big nation on the western side is your Saudi Arabia. You go little further, you will see Kuwait. And on the eastern sides of the Kuwait, you have Iraq also has its border, and the major nation is Iran on the right. So in totality, these are the countries, right? And the delta that forms is Shatt al-Arab. So the rivers that enters into the Persian Gulf is Euphrates and Tigris. Euphrates and Tigris, two major rivers. Okay, Euphrates and Tigris. I'll show you that map. So look at this Iran. Iran also has borders with Caspian Sea and Persian Gulf. It is one country which has borders with Caspian Sea and Persian Gulf. Right? Come here. Observe. First observe. Let's try to look at Israel. The red color component, it is nothing but Palestine. This is your West Bank and Gaza Strip. Don't confuse between the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. West Bank is with respect to River Jordan, right? So look at the bordering countries of Israel first. On the west, you will see Egypt. This is called as Sinai Peninsula, right? 1, 2 is Jordan, 3 is Syria, 4 is Lebanon, right? And Palestine वैसे तो है ही है. These are the countries that are having borders, right? 1, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. Now there are conflict areas between Israel and rest of the countries. You know that Hamas is already present here in Hamas. Hezbollah, Lebanon. So its conflict here is Hezbollah. And it has border conflicts with Jordan. It also has border conflicts with Syria. Lebanon also, Syria also. The border conflicts with Syria, this area is called as Golan Heights. And this area is called as frontal fields. ठीक है, frontal fields. Comparatively, जॉर्डन के साथ इनका थोड़ा बहुत हल्का फुल्का पीस रहता है, right? This is how it is involved. Does Syria has a border? Yes, Syria has a border. The conflict is in Golan Heights. So let's go and look into these. Let me show you. Just only observe. And those that are having borders with the Mediterranean Sea, we also call it as Levant. Okay. West Bank, Gaza. Can you see this? Dead Sea. This is called Dead Sea. And this Sea of Galilee. Sea of Galilee is a freshwater lake. So see here, Syria, this is your Golan Heights, right? UPSC asked already what is Golan Heights. Where is it present? It said Hamas ab bacha hai. This Jerusalem, US has recognized, US has set up its embassy in the Jerusalem. Okay? That means it's an indication that Jerusalem is the capital city of Israel. It is recognizing that if a country is coming and establishing their embassy in Jerusalem, and it is recognizing that Jerusalem is part of Israel, that becomes a very big thing. So US has set up its base here. Now in this context, yes? I did not get you.
There is an area between Egypt and Israel.
Area between Egypt and this one? Sinai Peninsula. This peninsula is called Sinai. Look here. In real terms, this is how the border will be there. So you have a fence. So this is called as no man's area. No one should be there. And these tunnels are dig too deep on either side. What happened in the last 6 months to 8 months, what happened was the Hamas people have cut down these fences. There was actually a fest that was being celebrated in Israel. They went in, they cut the cables, and the mass shooting started. Right? Mass shooting. They have killed Israeli people. That is when Israel started to retaliate. The war broke out between again Palestine, Lebanon, and Israel. So they went very aggressive. This time, what happened was, in order to save themselves, they also went ahead and caught some of the Israelis and they kept them as captive. Right? Now, Israel in such a situation that should it has to negotiate for its own Israelis, but Israel do not have a principle, no negotiation policies when it comes to terrorism. So it went on attacking, and roughly 200 people were taken as hostages. And these 200 people, US came and mediated. They said that let us have a peace deal. Meanwhile, the Israel has pushed these borders, and Israel has pushed all the areas wherever possible, whatever the possible area they have pushed in, and they are having the control. Right? Once this control came in, that is when the Lebanon and the Jordan areas, they started to come for negotiation. A line was set up. A line was set up, and they called this line as the yellow line. They said that yellow line would be the line beyond which you are not supposed to go. So the handout that you got, you'll also have the same thing. The yellow line concept is already given here. See, I think it's the second handout. Look at this. This is your Gaza. So they have advanced. That is where the peace agreement happened, that beyond which the Israeli forces will not go, and for which the hostages will be coming back. In all this conflict, the Gaza lost its territory. ठीक है? Attack तो उन्होंने किया था. They are the ones who cut down all the fencings, and they came in. They attacked, mass shooting in an open fest. And the culture of Israeli is that the religion of Judaism believes that it's a gerrymandering. When you look into gerrymandering aspects, you get peace. Okay, any Israeli festival that you see, they always move ribbons and some tie-ups they do. It is said that through these gerrymanderings, when you keep on finding out your path, you'll come out with peace. That is a kind of religious principle that they have. In the due process, when a festival happens, everyone will be in the open air, looking into sky, looking into all the aspects. So that fest was being attacked, and then the yellow line concept has come. This yellow line means it is present between Gaza and Israel. This is what you are supposed to know, right? Rest of the content is given, just go through that. And US came here and it said that 20-point principle hum rakhenge, right? This 20-point principle is something which they have to follow. If you follow that, then this becomes to peace. And then also he asked peace prize mila nahi. ठीक है? Come back. In this context, once look at Israel more. There is a port. You have one port by the name Haifa. Look here. This is Dead Sea, present at minus 430 meters below the sea level. Right? In the north, Dead Sea is salt. 330 parts per thousand. Right? So Dead Sea is saline, but Jordan River, as in when it comes to this part of the area, Jordan River also becomes salt. Now, why is this lake so saline? Dead Sea is why saline? One, the rate of evaporation is more than precipitation. The second reason is it is below the sea level. The third reason is salinity through the rocks, volcanism once it was active. Which is the most saline lake in the world? Lake Van. Where is it present? Turkey. Lake Van is in Turkey. Lake Van's, it is 440 parts per thousand. Okay? 440. Even in this also you'll float. You jump, you won't sink. Why? Because the density of the water that you get to see here is more than the density of your bone. So that's why you don't sink. The water density is more and your density is less. Any less denser particle you put into more denser entity, you will not. Yes. Golan Heights, you know, this is your Sea of Galilee. This is a fresh water. Okay? Jordan River, right? Okay. Next, come to important seas. Asia. So these important seas means Asia also will cover the seas which are there in the Arctic area also. Quickly understand where they are located. ठीक है? पहले broadly समझ लेते हैं where they are located. Then we'll go one by one. Kara Sea. Come here. Open your Arctic map. Arctic map and Antarctic map will be there at one single page. In any atlas that you take, you will have an Arctic map. Take any page that you take, any atlas. Just a minute. 58 somewhere it is. Did you get? Okay. Some seas, because the IN international north-south route is there, that route is also very important for us. we have to look. Can anyone tell me the page number, rough estimations? Huh? 100 plus? Okay. चलो first Arctic देखते हैं. Only identify those which I am trying to tell. पूरा जानने की जरूरत नहीं है. A homework for you. What are the bases which India has near the North Pole and South Pole? Research bases. Those which are there in the North Pole and those which are there in the South Pole. I'll give you the names. You go home and check. Maitri, Bharti, Gangotri. ठीक है? Maitri, Bharti, Gangotri, Dakshin Ganga. Right? How many of them are active and how many are not active? You need to know. Right? And in where they are located, Arctic or Antarctic? If you use your mind, you will easily able to eliminate. ठीक है? Gangotri, north. Dakshin Ganga, right? So it is related to, both are related to Ganga. Then Bharti. First, let's do this. Do that as a homework. So this is your Bering Strait. Bering Strait means, let's say, this is your USA, right? This is USA, Alaska, and this is Russia region. This is where you have Bering Strait. Bering Strait. Let me show it to you, how you are supposed to approach. See, US wants to trade with Europe, right? As on date, the route that it is going through is Atlantic Ocean. In the Atlantic Ocean, the problem is the length is too long, right? And Atlantic Ocean has Bermuda Triangle. A lot of disturbances will be there. So US wants a separate route, okay, so that it can trade. US, not just US, majority of the countries which are located on the Arctic Circle. So you go to the Arctic Circle and check how many countries are present on the Arctic Circle. How many countries? Arctic Circle is 66. So this is 66. You have USA, you have Canada, right? Then you have Russia. Greenland. Who owns Greenland? Yes, that means Denmark. Next, Norway, Sweden, Finland, right? And Ireland, Iceland is there. So first, these countries together, they will form Arctic Circle. So it's a homework for you. How many countries are there in the Arctic Circle? I gave 2 homeworks already. ठीक है? Please take that as seriously. Questions आते हैं वहां से. This is your Arctic Circle, right? Now, countries can also trade like this, right? Directly. But the problem is, in this part of the area, there is a lot of sea. And this sea is not just sea, it is sea ice during the time of winters. And when it comes to summers, it will melt. But who owns this North Pole? No one. It is global common. Who owns this ice? No one. Everyone owns. India also has a research station. Now, what do we do is, we'll divide this into 2. Look here, this is Russia and USA. So we call this particular route as the Bering Strait. This is what? Bering Strait. So we take this as a, right, this is Bering Strait. So imagine this is USA. Can it not, there can be an entry route. One route can go like this. Another route can also go like this and trade. So this is the new trade route that explorations are happening, and we call this as North Sea route, right? In the due process, what are the seas that you will find out that you are supposed to know, right? So let's go the same thing. I'll put the diagram like this. Let's say, look here. This is your Bering Strait. This is your Bering Strait. Now imagine if the route is to be like this and I wanted to go to the Finland and trade. Can I trade like this? Yes, possibility is there. Climate change happens, 2030, let that go, whatever it wants. US is not a member of the Paris anymore. US can do how much pollution they want. So let us found the seas that are present here. Just in your notes, what you're supposed to do is you have to write down Bering Strait. This route you need to identify. What are the seas that are there and Bering Strait countries, right? So one by one. From the Bering Strait, when you enter, you will see Chukchi Sea. This is Chukchi. And then East Siberian Sea. Then comes Leptiv Sea. You go little, this is Kara Sea. And then Barents Sea. Right? You come little south, here you will find Norwegian Sea. This is Norwegian Sea. Here, this is Norwegian Sea. And Denmark Strait. Right? So, Chukchi to East Siberian, Leptiv, Kara, Barents Strait, and then Norwegian Sea, Denmark. हो गया ना? Russia to Europe trade. For this, technologies need to be built. That technology is ship breakers, icebreakers, ship icebreakers. So not just US, India recently purchased one ship from Russia, right? One ship from Russia. Why did we purchase? We wanted to access an island called Svalbard. This is the island where India does research in the North Pole. Svalbard Island. So where is this Svalbard Island? It is present just north of Barents Sea. You'll find just north of, this is your Barents Sea, here it is your Svalbard. So let me again write all of this. I hope this is visible online. So see here, this is your Canada. This is your Alaska. Okay? And then this is your Russia in Siberia. And these are Ural Mountains. Ural means this is Russia, this is Europe. Right? And this is Finland, Norway, Sweden, right? Iceland. So this is your Greenland. Right? Try to process this. So first see Chukchi. Chukchi and East Siberia. Leptiv, Kara Sea, Barents Sea. Barents Sea का नॉर्थ में यहाँ पे जो आइलैंड होता है that is called as Svalbard. This is where the research of India is there. It's not near to the North Pole. This is not the North Pole. North Pole पे कोई research नहीं करता. It is in this island, this Svalbard island. We do the research. This is Svalbard, and this is your Norwegian Sea and Denmark Strait. The strait between Iceland and Greenland is Denmark. So this becomes your new route. रटना है, ठीक है? From on the way you have to. So Kara Sea is present between Barents Sea and Leptiv Sea. Can I say that? Right? Repeat after me. Barents Strait to Chukchi Sea, Chukchi to Leptiv, Chukchi to Leptiv, sorry, Chukchi to East Siberian, East Siberian to Leptiv, Leptiv to Kara, Kara to Barents, Barents to Norwegian Sea, and then to Denmark. Right? So Denmark Strait or yes, This is where the Europe comes into picture. Europe can be accessed through that Norwegian also. This route is going to be true by 2035. Summers, if not winter, summers, it can. Once the shipping routes open up, intentional dumping of oil will be there, intentional dumping of pollution will be there. Arctic amplification is a truth phenomena. Down the line, another 10 to 15 years, the sea route will be opened. So then the connections with the tropical countries will always be lost except for minerals. Today, the tropical countries are rich because many of the countries have trade, mines and minerals. But if this area opens up, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine. You name a mineral, you will get it. Oil, kitna oil hai? Continental shelf, 1500 kilometers of continental shelf. So Russia has 1000 kilometers of continental shelf access because it's the width of the continental shelf is extreme, right? So this is your Norwegian North Sea route. Everyone make notes, at least एक मैप बना लो, रूट मैप बना लो, ताकि बाद में you won't be opening your atlas, right? Here I am opening for you an atlas, a slide, and making it easy. But when you want to prepare, it won't be there. In the notes, anyways, it is there. You take black and white print, so digitally देखो आपको मिल जाता है, right? Should I erase? Or if you want to take photographs quickly. So, is the North Pole, magnetic North Pole and the actual North Pole, are they same? No. In 1997, your magnetic North Pole was here. Today, our magnetic North Pole is roughly 120 kilometers away from the actual, the last year's position. Every year, the magnetic pole will keep on moving by another 50 to 60 kilometers, roughly. It won't be there at one single place. So, study of the magnetic pole has explained which of the following theories, or study of magnetic poles has turned out to be one of the evidences for which of the following theories. I'll give you options: continental drift theory, seafloor spreading theory, mantle convectional cell theory, and these three theories. Seafloor spreading theory. Then Wegener did not study about this. Polar fleeing force. What is that? Poles are fleeing. How did he get to know? From the poles, the continents are fleeing. Drift is there, but Wegener also had an understanding about this poles, the polar fleeing force. He had study of this magnetic field. To an extent, he also did it. So it is true for continental drift theory. It is also true for seafloor spreading theory, because seafloor spreading theory is the one which has helped. Mantle convectional cell theory, nahi. Right? Plate tectonics theory, yes, to an extent, can be. Possibility is there. Because plate tectonics theory have also studied the movement of the plates. The movement of the plates means rocks of similar age were also there in Wegener, you also find here. And how did you find that the deep ocean currents are moving? How did you get to know that the deep ocean currents are moving? Nuclear blasts, right? Nuclear material, lot of nuclear blasts that were done under the water. We tracked that radiation. Okay, done. I'm erasing out. So this is very, very important. So in this context, let us quickly go and see the North Sea route once. Look here. Barents Sea. We entered from Barents Strait. Then the first sea is Chukchi, then East Siberian, then Leptiv. Chalo. First is Barents Strait, then Chukchi, then East Siberian, then Leptiv, Kara, Barents, Norwegian, Denmark Strait, and you enter into Rotterdam. So this is the new alternative sea route, right? Which we call it as northeast sea route, which is a current sea route. Occasionally, this is also accessed in the summers, right? Now look at this. This is the dream of US. They want to do it. Okay? This is the dream of US. The dream of US is they wanted to open out through Labrador Current. Labrador Sea is there, right? Labrador Strait is there. Now let me show you this route, which is called as Northwest Passage. This is Davis Strait, right? This is Labrador Sea. So through this route, they want to enter. This is called as the Northwest Passage. Look at this again. Look at the image. They wanted to enter through Rotterdam hai. San Francisco, they come from north, and this route is, what is the current which is coming from north? Labrador. I told you a story in the GS classes that there is a dog, Labrador. Why is it named? Why those dogs were used? Basically for hunting, fishing, right? And they became one of the best friends, right? Yesterday I've shown you a tribe in the Zambezi tribe. They eat all animals except one animal, dog. Why they don't eat, you know? They feel that it is a sin. Why? Because it is a devil. That is a kind of principle that they have, right? It is an evil dog. Dogs are evil. So if you eat dog, that evil will come and hunt you. That's the principle that they have. Except dog, every animal is hunted by the most hunting and gatherer tribes, including the Sentinelese. They won't hunt a dog. Okay? I hope you will be able to remember. At least elimination technique में तो काम आएगा. So quickly, I'll show one by one sea. You see, Kara Sea, you know, Leptiv Sea, you know it. East Siberian Sea, you know it, right? Bering Sea, you know it. Sea of Okhotsk. See, the Sea of Okhotsk is Russia and Kamchatka Peninsula. Kamchatka Peninsula is the extension of Russia, and this is your Bering Sea, right? Bering Strait, which goes there. This is Kamchatka. I'll again talk about this. I told you Honshu, Hokkaido, Shikoku, Kyushu, Okinawa, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these Kuril Islands which are there, it is in dispute with the Japan and Russia. Okay, Japan and Russia, they have a dispute here. Now look at this Sea of Okhotsk. Now you understand, right? Sea of Japan is between Japan and North Korea, South Korea, China, right? Sea of Okhotsk. Okay. LOC, East China Sea. Then let's try to understand this issue. South China Sea. Okay. 2 islands and 1 shoals. So here, shoals are nothing but shallow water where the growth of grasses can be there. And if a river is going, the river can deposit some kind of sediments and that will turn into banks, right? So shoals are not so deep. They are very shallow water, very, very shallow water. So what is China doing in these shoals is it is building artificial islands. Okay? It is building artificial islands. When an island is built, from there the territorial water, the contiguous zone and the exclusive economic zone comes into picture. So China says, if you take back my whole documents and check, I used to have a line called 9-dash line. That 9-dash line, when they declared, the red color dots which you get to see here on the screen, this is your 9-dash line, right? China declared that this is my territory, but it is not accepted by Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, right? Brunei too. Yes, thank you. Brunei, right? That means South China Sea is a disputed island territory between China, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Brunei, Philippines, right? Is Cambodia involved? No. Is Laos involved? No. Myanmar, Thailand? No. So firstly, you need to remember the names of these countries. I hope now you can. Six countries. Now, which islands are, this is your Paracel Islands. This is Paracel. Spratly is in the south, not there. Spratly, Paracel, yeah, Spratly. And here, these are Spratly. This is Spratly Islands. This is Paracel. So let me show you a proper map. Taken the map from the official site. So these are Paracel Islands, these are Spratly, and these are Scarborough Shoals, right? One by one. Look here. Paracel Islands. It's a disputed territory between, though it is towards the Vietnam side, but the disputed territory is between China and Taiwan and Vietnam. China, Vietnam, and Taiwan. Three countries are there, but China don't consider Taiwan as a separate entity. Unka dispute to hamara hi dispute hai. Right? This is how China considers. China says that if it's a Taiwan dispute, let that be. But problem is when it goes into Taiwan, Taiwan as a nation, Hong Kong or Mekong, Hong Kong, it is a free trade area. You understand? Free trade. How is Hong Kong surviving? Macau surviving? They make sure anything that you get and set up there is no tax. It is opportunities that they have, right? Production lines they set up and they charge a very minimal that is sufficient for their nation as a whole, right? So China do not want anything to go to Taiwan. So for that, an alternative island that it is developing, that is Hanle Island, that I'll talk about little later. It is a small island. This, can you see north of Paracel? Hainan Island, also called as Hanle Island. This island, it is China's Davos. What is Davos? City of investments, right? Davos, every year, all the big World Economic Forum happens there. All the countries come together, sit there, talk about investments, and so if an investment deal happens, some kind of offerings. So that is like an economic forum that has been created in the Davos, right? So here, China wants to create a Davos. China wants to create another Hong Kong, like trade. They are going to develop this Hainan Island, so that any product you get to this island, and from this island you register there and get it to China, you won't be taxed the import duty there. Else China taxes 30% of the duty. So this is how they are developing this, so that over a period of time, today you'll become a geo. You start to use, and one fine day you'll charge, and the monopoly will be decided by you, right? So Hainan Island is an alternative to Hong Kong. Remember this. Come back. Paracel. It is a disputed territory between Vietnam, China, and Taiwan. Come to Spratly Islands. This is your Spratly. Disputed between China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines, and all the countries, majority of the countries are involved. So UPSC can enter into and ask which of the following are in dispute with which of the following countries. China to common hai. The one which is there to the north, Paracel, it is next to Vietnam. So Vietnam ke saath dispute hai. But why is Taiwan coming? Because Taiwan is a small nation which has small islands located at different places. So this 9-dash line comes in conflict with these territories, partly. Then comes the score show. This shows Philippines is present. It is a conflict between China and Philippines. Right? That is your disputed area. When you take here, is there Indonesia anywhere? Is Indonesia in trouble with Paracel? No. Is Indonesia in trouble with Spratly? Is Indonesia trouble with Scarborough? Why is Indonesia involved? Exclusive economic zone. So if they are owning these territories, their exclusive economic zone will come in conflict. So that exclusive economic zones will come into two more islands, Prats and Natuna Island. Naam yaad kar lena, Prats and Natuna Island, because it is coming under the exclusive economic zones. So just a minute. The Chinese 9-dash line overlaps with the exclusive economic zone of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, leading to further disputes over the resources. So Indonesia will come into picture when the EEZ comes into contact. Right? So Paracel, Spratly, Scarborough. Yaad rahega? 3 islands. So first, quickly try to recall the sea route from Bering Strait to Rotterdam. First is Chukchi Sea, then East Siberian Sea, then Leptiv, then Kara, then Barents Sea, Norwegian Sea, Denmark Strait, then you go to Rotterdam, right? So the US wants to explore from Rotterdam to San Francisco on the western side through Labrador Strait, right? Davis Strait, we call it. Where is Drakensberg Passage? South America, between South America and Arctic, right? So what is Maputo famous for? Dugong sea cows. Very good. Namibia we have discussed in the context of cheetah and uranium. Desert है ना Namibia, uranium. Botswana, cheetah, elephants, and to an extent uranium, lithium also, right? So can you name the countries that are having Sahels? Senegal to Eritrea, but beach का countries भी बताओ. You have to have an order, right? Can you tell me the countries of the grain coast? Countries of the grain coast. Sierra Leone, right? And countries of the Ivory Coast. Côte d'Ivoire. Next, countries of Gold Coast, Ghana. Next, Slave Coast, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. Very good. Can you arrange the following from equatorial rainforest to the desert? What kind of vegetations will you cross over when you are moving from equator to deserts? Equatorial rainforest, then savanna, Sahel, desert. To stop, what are the winds that are moving from desert towards the Mediterranean Sea and giving the red rain? Sirocco. What are the winds which are local winds which are moving from the desert towards the humid regions and cure the diseases? Harmattan, right? Chinooks, Chinooks are cold winds or warm winds? Minus 2.66. Chinooks are warm. Cold, they descend and come, right? Chinooks are, matlab kya hai? Snow eater hai na? Chinook means snow eater. Snow is eaten by warm winds, not cold winds, right? So in India, do we have this Chinooks? The alternative name for Chinooks is the winds that are seen on the leeward side, right? Leeward side. The winds of the leeward side are nothing but the Chinooks. It has, the name is given on the USA as Chinooks, but in India, it is leeward side winds, right? In Ladakh and so, you'll have these leeward winds. Whatever we are studying in exam, you'll mark and come. Itna confidence mujhe hai kyunki now you are trying to remember everything. No, in exam you just need to recall, right? Out of 10 options, if I tell you this, you'll be able to recall. 50% will go into elimination and 50% you will do it. Come back. So majority of the seas, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, ठीक है. Important gulfs. One by one, जो important है, only that I'll deal with that. See, go to Gulf of Thailand. ठीक है. See, this is, sorry, not this. Yes, this is Gulf of Tonkin, China. But look at this. This is important, not that. This part of the area has the Green Sea. It is called as the Green Sea. Why is it called Green Sea? Not just this, even in the Thailand. Where is this Thailand? This is also, the sea is comparatively green in color because the algal bloom is so high in this part of the area. Algal bloom is high. Green in Gulf of Thailand and west of the Tonkin, right? One. Another important aspect which was there in the current affairs. Persian Gulf we have dealt, right? Gulf of Thailand. This is the news article. Read it. Extreme plankton bloom creates marine dead zone of the eastern Thailand. So this kind of plankton blooms can also be seen in the Tonkin side as well. Persian Gulf we already know. Quickly, Akarsh, tell me the countries in the Persian Gulf. Yemen is there? Is Yemen there? Oman, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Yes. Nikhil will tell us the countries of the Red Sea. Desi कोड नहीं पूछा मैं, कंट्रीज पूछा था. Is Ethiopia there? Ethiopia is landlocked. Then what is EE? Tell me the countries from north. Let's say Egypt is there. Next, Djibouti, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Eritrea, and then why is Yemen? Yemen, right? Yemen is there. So you have to remember these countries. Sometimes you get confused. Matlab Ethiopia. What are the countries of Horn of Africa? No. Try. What are the countries of Horn of Africa? Bhavya. Ethiopia, Djibouti, Somalia, Eritrea. Very good. Right? And what is the source of the White Nile? Blue Nile. Tana. Chad as a lake is present in how many countries? 3 or 4? That is 3 is Lake Victoria is bordering how many countries? Huh? यूटीके, वेरी गुड. यूटीके का फुल फॉर्म भी बताओ. उगांडा, केन्या, तंजानिया. Right? Is Lake Victoria part of the Great Rift Valley? No. It is freshwater. Right? Lake Malawi? Yes, salt water. Tanganayika? Lake Titicaca? Very good. It's in South America. Lake Titicaca. ठीक है, Lake Titicaca is in South America. It is present in the western side. Right? What are Caatingas? Shrublands. Tell me the grasslands of temperate region. Who will tell me? Kalyan will tell us. Tell me the grasslands of the temperate region. So I'll tell you. Tell me whether they are in the temperate region or not. Downs, Australia. Velds, Pustas, Steppes, Prairies, Pampas, Ponnas, Campos. Which South America? Which country? Campos, Brazil. Llanos, Venezuela. Llanos, Venezuela. You have the handout in your hand. Just go through the. See, steppes in Russia. Okay. Velds in South Africa. Downs in Australia. Next, selvas. Selvas in South America. Right? Laos, Campos. Next, Pustas, Hungary. Steppes, Russia. याद रहना है ये सब. You have to remember. So tropical grasslands, savanna. Savanna is tropical. Campos is tropical. Laos is tropical. In India, you have Banni grasslands and Shola grasslands in Tamil Nadu, in the Western Ghats, and Tarai region are also having grasslands, and Saramati in Nagaland. When you go to Himalayas, the temperate grasslands in India are Bugyals, Ali Bugyal, Bendi Bugyal, Dayara Bugyal. Right? 3 Bugyals. Tribal communities, Bhotias in Uttarakhand, Gaddis where? Gaddis. Bakarwals then Gaddis in Himachal, Bakarwals in Kashmir. Maldari community, where do you see them? What do they do? Grasses. Maldari community in Bani grasslands. Karai camels in Gujarat. They can swim for long. Can elephant swim? Yes. Elephant can swim. Hippo swims. Any animal which has 4 legs will swim. Okay? Common sense. Any animal which has 4 legs will swim. Right? If you think that hippo is so heavy it will sink, no. Hippo se bhi bada hai elephant. Elephant can swim up to 5 or 6 hours. It can swim. Right? So sometimes common sense works. Come back. Gulf we have done. Now come to one of the disputed areas which are there. कोई class है इसके बाद? Which class? See, important islands. You know what? Paracel. It is a disputed territory between China, Philippines, and Paracel. Vietnam, China, and Taiwan. Who has Honda CVT? Partly. Majority of the islands, right? Paracel, Philippines, China. Okay, Scarborough. It is only Paracel यहाँ पे. Scarborough यहाँ पे दिया नहीं. चलो ठीक है. Kuril Islands. It's a disputed territory between Japan and Russia. Senkaku. I'll deal that little later. चलो एक और Agileka Islands. Agileka, Indian Ocean में. So one, I want you to identify the islands of Lakshadweep, Maldives, then you have Seychelles and Reunion. Please try to remember in this way. From the north to south, west of India, you have Lakshadweep, Indian islands. Then you have Maldives, Seychelles, Reunion Islands. In between, you will have Agalega Islands. So, which country is Agalega Islands? Of course, वहां दिया है तो पता चल गया आपको. And one more island which is in news. This Reunion Islands, they are owned by, is it a separate country? French. So which country in the world has the highest time zones? France. France is a small country. Why it has so many islands? Sorry, why it has so many? Yes, because French का जो islands है बहुत ज़्यादा है. So that's why the highest number of time zones in the world is with France, right? It is not Russia, it is not US, it is France. So this reunion, it is called as French reunion, France reunion, right? The treaty between Mauritius and that Straits, Bering Strait is between Alaska and Russia. Alaska and Russia, right? This is Alaska, this is Russia. Not important. Taiwan Strait between Taiwan and China. Not important. Sunda, Java and Sumatra. Java and Sumatra, Sunda. Lombok, I said, between Bali and Lombok. So this is the alternative route to the Strait of Malacca, right? You can remember, but a very small strait, only 200 to 300 meters of stretch that they have, right? Strait of Malacca, right, which connects the Java Sea with that of the Bay of Bengal, right? Baki छोटे मोटे है, not much. Important mountains, yes, this एक बार देख लेना. Most of you know all of this. First one, this is called as Pamir Knot. From the Pamir Knot, you have Himalayas, you have Karakoram, Tian Shan, Hindu Kush, Suleiman, Kirtar, right? So this is your Pamir Knot. Pamir Knot matlab, it is a knot which you find in Afghanistan, right? It feels like there is a knot that is tied. Kailash is nothing but the Himalayas, extension of Himalayas into Tibet and Nepal. They are Kailash ranges. So these are the mountain ranges. Hindu Kush, which goes to the west, Suleiman and Kirtar are in Pakistan. Suleiman, Kirtar ranges in Pakistan, Himalayas in India, Kailash ranges which goes into Nepal and Tibet, and Tian Shan goes north, Kulun Shan again it goes into Tibet. This is called as Pamir Knot. Pamir Knot has Suleiman, Kirtar in Pakistan, Hindu Kush which goes into the west towards the Iran side, Himalayas in India, Kailash ranges in Nepal and Tibet, Kunlun Shan again in Tibet and extensions into China, that is Tibet, Tian Shan to the north, right? So the mountains that are present between Caspian Sea, the mountains that are present between Caspian Sea and Black Sea, what are they? Caucasus mountains. I'll discuss about that because Azerbaijan and Armenia are there. That's a disputed territory. The mountains which divide Europe with Europe, this is Russia, Asia and Europe, right? Scandinavia means Norway, Finland, Denmark, right? They are also called as Nordic countries. Why? The language that is spoken there is Nordic languages. Okay, Nordic countries, yeah, Scandinavia. The mountains you call them as Scandinavian mountains, right? Here you have Norway, Finland, Sweden. Iceland is here. This is your Iceland. It is also Nordic. Language, when it comes to Nordic, it means language they follow. So Nordic countries, they are called, mountains are Scandinavian mountains. Atlas mountains you already know, right? Morocco. and Arakan Yoma, Myanmar, the extension of Himalayas which extends into Myanmar and they go southward, they are called as Arakan Yoma. So come here, you might get confused only here. One, Carpathian Mountains. See, Carpathian Mountains are those mountains which are extending into the Black Sea. ठीक है, जो Black Sea की northwestern region में है, they are called as Carpathians. These are Carpathians. Apennines are ones which are there in Italy. Those which are there in Italy, we call them as Apennines, right? So ये इतना important नहीं है. Which these are Pyrenees. These Pyrenees are those mountains which are present between the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, right? In the Spain, Pyrenees. US में western side is rocky, eastern side is Appalachians. In Wagner, we have studied that Appalachian mountains and Atlas mountains, they have commonalities, and the mountains of the Caledonian and Hercynian mountains. What are these Caledonian and Hercynian? Are nothing but your Scandinavian. Caledonian and Hercynian mountains, they have similar rock characteristics with the mountains that are found on the eastern side. So these are the major mountain ranges. Drakensberg Mountains, yesterday we have seen, day before yesterday. Karoo lands, where are they present? Which continent? Which Africa? South Africa. So Drakensberg Mountains, south mein, you find these Karoo lands. It's like dunes only. In India, we call them as dunes, but here water availability is little less. So Karoo, they call this as Karoo. Dunes in literal terms means the plain area between two mountains. Let's say this is your lesser Himalayas and this is your Shivaliks. In between you will find cities like Kalka, Dehradun, this is the biggest dun, and eastern side you have Harki. This is the biggest dun here. This is Dehradun. This is duns, right? So it is also plain area, but it is also watershed area. Leeward, windward, ऐसा नहीं है. Valley filled with plain area, all three sides. You go to Dehradun, it is filled with mountains on three sides. So that's why it has so much of humidity. The moisture that is there, it is acting as a watershed. सारा पानी इसमें आता है, Dehradun, right? And little up you go, this is where you will get trained. Labasna. ठीक है? Just 20 kilometers away, 25 kilometers away from these dunes. More or less, you'll remember the major mountains. I don't think these are important. Right? Now come to the last and the most important topic, which is your first article in the handout. The Trump's peace route. ऐसा क्या किया ट्रंप ने जो उनको नोबेल पीस प्राइज देना चाहिए? See, Trump has negotiated, there's no doubt to this, right? Firstly, go back to 1990s. This was the time when the Russia got disintegrated, the Soviet Union got disintegrated. So there are a lot of cultures which are there. These cultures were not much respected for the languages that they have. They said that common language is the one which is Russian, they have to speak. So communications were also like that. Finally, the Soviet could not withstand for many reasons. One of the reasons is this culture. In this cultural disintegration, there was a country, they declared themselves as an independent nation, that is Nagorno-Karabakh. Right? This Nagorno-Karabakh is a region which you will find in the Armenia. It's an inlet in the Armenian region. It is an inlet in the Armenia. So here in Armenia, what happens is that, just a minute, let me show you the map. Okay, first see this. This is your Black Sea and this is your Caspian Sea. I told you the mountains which are present between them, Caucasus. There are greater Caucasus which are bigger. There are lesser Caucasus like greater Himalayas and lesser Himalayas. Right? So these Caucasus mountains. In these mountains, there are multiple tribal communities that they live. Look here, there are two countries. One is Azerbaijan, which is Islamic dominated. Armenia, which is Christianity. Right? These were once part of the Soviet Union. Right? So for Russia also now it is very important because Caspian Sea bhi hai, Black Sea bhi hai. Northern part of the Caspian Sea there is so much of gas, and Black Sea is also there. If there is no peace, the trade here can also get impacted. So US is always interested in this area. Wherever you have the Christian community, US is also interested in directly or indirectly there. So can you see this place, Nagorno-Karabakh? Just a minute. चलो, let me go to handout only. इसमें होना तो चाहिए. Okay. See here. Look at this map. There are two countries. See here. This is Nakhchivan province. Province means what? It's a state. State of who? It is a state of Azerbaijan. But these people have very close relationship with Armenia in terms of culture. In terms of culture. So with the help of Armenia, they declared independence to themselves, which was not liked by, it is a territory. See, it is a territory of who? Territory of Azerbaijan, right? But in between, you have Lachin corridor. This is your, I'll use two different colors to make it easy for you. So this is your Armenia, right? Armenia. This is Azerbaijan. Again, this is Azerbaijan. So in between, there is a gap. It's like East Pakistan, West Pakistan. In between, India is there. Like that, you have Armenia. Culturally, they are close to each other. Now, with the help of Armenia, they declared independence for themselves, which was not liked by them. So this independence was declared way back, 1990s, 2000s. दो बार declare किया, एक बार annex किया, दोबारा control में लेके आया. Finally, in 2023, what happened is Azerbaijan, with the usage of military, they took back the control of this region. Right? Now, Armenia, in the south, this is Iran. If I go little south here, this is your Iran. This is a small stretch. This is Iran. यहाँ का जो प्रॉब्लम है ईरान के लिए भी प्रॉब्लम है. ईरान के साथ बॉर्डर अजरबैजान इज आल्सो देयर. दिस इज आर्मेनिया इज आल्सो देयर. This is Nakhchivan. This Nakhchivan is also called as Nagorno-Karabakh region. So here, what did Trump do? Trump said, I'll make a broker deal. The brokerage deal is that he said that let us go for a Megri corridor. Megri corridor is, first let me show you the map. Only then you will be able to understand. ये कितना भी पढ़ो समझ में नहीं आता आपको. See here. Armenia, Azerbaijan, and in between, this is Lachin corridor. We call this as Lachin corridor, and this is Nagorno-Karabakh. So here, a small route in Azerbaijan, he said, give this to US. Give this to US. हम एक कॉरिडोर क्रिएट करेंगे ताकि ना आपको भी प्रॉब्लम होगा ना आपको भी प्रॉब्लम होगा. And it is very important for the Caspian Sea gas to be transported to Black Sea and to the rest of the Europe. Right? For the rest of the Europe, gas is very important. Caspian Sea में बहुत ज़्यादा gas आता है. They wanted to explore, but because of these two countries who are in fight with each other, so this gas always was in dispute. And it is also very important for India. Why? Because India has signed a deal once with Armenia. India also signed a deal with Armenia, that cooperation deal we have signed, that if you need anything, we will cooperate, and if you need anything, we will cooperate. Like that. So our international north-south route, INSTC, yesterday we have seen, it also involves Armenia and Azerbaijan also, right? So if they are in disturbances, don't you think it is going to impact us? So we welcomed the Trump's peace route. That peace route is nothing but, this is Megri as part of the Lachin corridor. Lachin corridor is, this is Lachin. So he said from here, a 30-kilometer stretch road, you exclusively give for US and only for US, no one else. For how many years? 2050 tak. We will bring in the infrastructure, we will bring everything, and we'll explore the gas here, and from then we'll transport. And he said that Trump peace and prosperity route, and they are also okay, these people are also okay. And this is now taken back, the control is taken back, Azerbaijan needs access. So Armenia thinks that if US is there, it will take care. Somehow, in totality, these Armenian territories also there in the Azerbaijan. Okay? They said that we'll exchange our territories, we'll clear off these disputes, but let this be as an autonomous region, like the one which we used to have as Kashmir, a separate constitution, a separate, except for the defense and military communication. These three things will have it: international relations, defense, and communications. Three things will be kept with us, and rest of the things you can have your own. A similar kind of treaty was signed, and in this context, you need to know one. Nagorno-Karabakh region, it's a disturbed region in the Armenia and Azerbaijan. Lachin corridor is nothing but, this is called as the Lachin corridor. Megri means from Azerbaijan to Azerbaijan, there is a small route. This is called as Trump peace and prosperity route. So let me show you the route now. Look at this. The corridor consists of two parallel lanes consisting of railway and highway. मतलब यहाँ से एक railway route भी होगा, एक highway route. So 40 kilometers of the route is in Armenian's territory. That is Megri corridor. So this is Nakhchivan province, right? And Azerbaijan, yes. Capital of Azerbaijan, Baku. ठीक है? Baku is on the eastern side of the Caspian Sea. So 6 kilometers is in the mountainous terrain. That's how we get the solutions to the modern day problems, right? So this is another disputed area which can be be asked in the examinations. Now let's go to the handout. Handout page out. Article number 1. I'll give you 2 minutes to quickly read. First heading, Azerbaijan peace agreement, which is brokered by US. Armenia and Azerbaijan signed a US brokered peace agreement in 2025. A decade-long standoff was there here, established the ceasefire and diplomatic relations. So Trump route for international peace and prosperity, this is called. India supported this. Why India supports? Because we have INSTC. So we are in favor with that. Conflict kya hai? It is a conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and this is also called as Nagorno-Karabakh conflict because Nagorno is in the Armenia, current Karabakh is in the Azerbaijan. So it is Lachin corridor, you know, Lachin is present in Armenia. Megri, Armenia, right? And Nakhchivan province is nothing but the province of autonomous region of Azerbaijan, which declared themselves to be independent, right? So they were captured again. What are the mountains that are present? Caucasus mountains. So Megri corridor, you know it, which is written here, Caucasus region. Same thing. This is the next article. Did we discuss about the yellow line? Yellow line is it between Gaza and Israel, right? So who brokered this? Trump. Okay, yes, Trump only. Trump was the one who negotiated this, right? So Gaza Strip, it is bordering which sea? Gaza Strip borders Mediterranean Sea. Gaza Strip borders Haifa port. Yesterday also discussed, it is a port which is located in Haifa, Israel, right? Countries bordering the Red Sea. Jagan will tell us. Jagan. Countries bordering the Red Sea. Huh. Yemen. Chalo, I'll tell the countries. You tell me where they are bordering or not. Oman. Yes. Egypt. Ethiopia. Eritrea. Djibouti. Somalia. Sudan. No. Why no? What is SS in? Then he said Sudan landlocked. Minus 2.66. Okay, if you mark correct, you get 2. But if you mark wrong, you'll lose that 1 which you have to get 2 marks also and minus 0.6 also. Sudan कहाँ से landlocked हो गया? न्यूमोनिक्स याद नहीं करना है, न्यूमोनिक्स का कंट्रीज भी याद करो, ठीक है? Dead Sea. So Dead Sea, fresh water or salt water? Sea of Galilee, fresh water. River that drains through both. Jordan, right? Jordan. So Dead Sea is present between which countries? Israel तो पक्का है. Syria there? Lebanon? How confidently you say no? See, Jordan will be there, Palestine will be there, and Israel will be there. 3 countries. Okay? Dead Sea has borders with, that is West Bank, Israel, Jordan. Syria कहाँ से आ गया? Next, Chabahar port, where is it located? Iran. We moved out, that's why it is in news. INSTC, yes. INSTC में countries याद करो. Iran is there, ठीक है? Azerbaijan, Armenia. Next, Russia is there. Next, total 13 countries will be there. ठीक है? I want you to write their names. छोटे मोटे countries भी बहुत ज़्यादा है. In the handout itself, I have given you what is that INSTC and how these 13 countries are involved. You please go through these 13 members, including we also include the Central Asian countries also. Kazakhstan will be there, Kyrgyzstan will be there. Okay? Central Asia, right? 3 Central Asian countries, right? And 2 Caucasian countries, Azerbaijan, Armenia. India, Iran, Russia तो आपको पता ही है. So 3 Central Asia, 2 Caucasian countries. Now Ukraine, Belarus, Oman, Syria. Oman and Syria, Middle East. So this INSTC here, we wanted to include the major countries, and it is not just a water route, it's a multimodal transport route. So a similar kind of multimodal, we also have Kaladan multimodal. Tomorrow that I'll discuss, next class. Sithvi port, right? So 13 countries, this is a small hard work I want you to do from your side, right? So Caspian Sea bordering countries. before that, in the Caspian Sea, I want you to identify the river Volga, river Ural, both of drain into this, and the river Aras. Aras is a Caucasian region से ये आता है, Kuru and Aras. This is Aras river, Aras. Right? South of this, you'll have another river by the name Tabriz. It should be here somewhere. Okay, यहाँ पे है Tabriz. So Tabriz, Aras, Volga, and Ural, all of them drain into Caspian Sea. Right? All of them drain into Caspian Sea. Caspian Sea is shrinking. Aral Sea is extremely shrinking. Rivers that are draining into Aral Sea, Amudarya, Siridarya. Repeat, Amudarya, Siridarya into Aral Sea. Aral Sea is present between which two countries? Kazakhstan? How come Russia? Russia तो ऊपर रहता है ना? Uzbekistan, right? Uzbekistan. So Caucasus, in that two rivers. One I told Tabriz, another one is Aras. Urals and Volga, two major rivers are draining into this. So bordering countries, dekho, the bordering countries of these 5 major countries: Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Russia, Iran, Kazakhstan. It is to be remembered as Tariq. Rivers that are draining: Volga, Ural, and Aras also. In your handout, please mention this. Tariq. Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Russia, Iran, Kazakhstan. Strait of Hormuz, we have dealt with that, right? This Operation Midnight Hammer is nothing but the name of the US attacking, right? In this, you need to know some of the places of Iran, where Iran has its nuclear sites. 2 major sites where enrichment takes place. One is Fordo and the other one is Natanz. Fordo and Natanz. Let me show this to you first. Look here. These are all the places of nuclear sites, but nuclear means nuclear power plants. Power plants are different from enrichment plants. सारा याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Bandar Abbas, we already know. I have dealt with that. This is a way we enter into Afghanistan. यहाँ से Chabahar is there. It is the deepest port, Bandar Abbas. Then we'll go into Daleram, Seranj, right? Like that. So here, I want you to remember these 2. One is Natanz. Other one is Fordo. Fordo, Natanz. These are the 2 places where the enrichment of uranium capabilities are there. Now, when it comes to enrichment, how much enrichment is required for the electricity production? Roughly above 5% or around to 5% is enough for electricity production, right? Now, how much is required for weapon grade uranium? That is for nuclear bomb. 60. Okay? If you have 60% of the enrichment, it means you are using it for bomb. Beyond 60%, there is no use except for making a bomb. Remember this. But enrich up to 10%, it is having medicinal properties like cancer treatment, laser treatments, laser cum nuclea. It is a treatment towards cancer, and extreme genetic cancers can also be dealt with. So those are the nuclear capabilities. Now, enrichment of uranium beyond 5% needs special permissions under special supervisions. IEAE, International Energy Atomic Agency, IAEA, right? International Atomic Energy Agency. So under those observations only you can enrich. There are certain terms that you'll come across whenever you are reading the nuclear. Yellow cake. Okay? What is yellow cake? Uranium, when you get, is present in the form of uranium plus impurities. Natural uranium. Now that impurities you take out, the uranium can be present in different isotopes. U-235, U-238. Which is used for weapons? 35 or 38? Sure. Enrichment need to be done for 35. So you need to enrich. Enrich means this enrichment is done by putting this material into a spinning. Anything that spins will differentiate the densities. Right? We have learned this differentiation in the Big Bang theory also. Density differentiations, same. Even if you take your blood and put into a spinning machine, what happens? Your WBC will settle down, your plasma will come up, and your blood will be separated, RBC will be separated. Right? In simple terms, even if you, yes, centrifuge. You put into a centrifuge, your blood can also be separated, just at the rate of 6,000 spins per minute. So if suppose you put this at 60,000 spinning speeds, the uranium, whatever you have, the finest uranium will be collected at one place. Now that finest uranium, you again take it and put into a centrifuge. You repeat. So the yellow color components will now come out, that is called as yellow cake. Right? The more and more you enrich, this yellow cake will turn into black cake. Is nothing but the black color compounds which are found at the end, that is the pure uranium. For nuclear capability bombs, 95% plus enrichment you do, it's a nuclear bomb. Right? It's a nuclear bomb. So that enrichment, as on date, the evidences are that they enriched beyond 60%. It's an indication what? Now, how many kgs are there with them? 500 kgs. Okay, this is what US claims. 500 kgs. 500 kgs means so much. It can wipe off entire world. 500 kgs में बहुत ज़्यादा होता है 500 किलो, right? So that capabilities are only at Fordo and Natanz, and this is the place where the US bombed, right? That will be present underground. Okay? Radiation can be there, possibility is there. What evidence? There is no leak of radiation evidence. That is not there. That we'll discuss in a private. मतलब वो सच में है कि नहीं क्या? So no matter what, Israel always says they are enriching, but there is an evidence that 60% enrichment happened. So why should a country go for 60% enrichment? Weapon grade uranium. So that's why they say that weapon grade uranium enrichment. They say, you have heard about this weapon grade in news articles and so. Yes. So in this context, remember these two, Fordos and Natanz. Rest of them are the places where nuclear power plants are there. Right? In India, recently, Kalpakam, that is also important. And take this as a homework also. Please make sure to look into what are the nuclear power plants in India. How many are there? So mostly you need to look into 3-stage program and the rest of the programs. एक बार देख लेना क्या पता. They'll give you 2 principles of nuclear and the third one they say this is located here. Possibility is there. Okay. Five minutes, I'll leave you. Class hai kya? Next. When it comes to oil infrastructure, I want you to remember this. South Paras and Karg Island. Yeah. Why? Because almost 70+% of the oil of Iran is produced in this particular island. Industries, everything is located Karg Island. What is the South Paras fields? It is a conflict area between Qatar and this, right? Qatar and this, Iran. So Karg Island, it is in news. So you need to know Karg Island is located in the Persian Gulf. Baki sab chhod do. South Paras, it is the place where oil is extracted. It belongs to Iran, but disputed between Qatar and Iran, right? So gas is present in this island. Gas. From Qatar, India buys gas.